Welcome back to Jeff Willett's Muscle Hub, home of my weekly Q&A show and all of my YouTube video updates. Thanks for your question submissions this week. Keep them coming in. You guys drive the show. Let's get into this week's great questions. Number one comes from Mark B, and this came through Twitter. Why is there a higher rep range for calves, abs, and forearms with the Max OT principles? It's a really good observation. Most Max OT parameters for the exercises, we like to go 4 to 6 reps. You will notice that for calves, abs, and forearms, the rep range is a little bit higher, generally 6 to 8. The reason for that is this. We still want to overload those areas because the load is going to be the best signal for muscle growth. However, because those body parts, all those movements are more isolation by nature. For example, think of an abdominal movement. Think of a calf movement. You're only working through one joint. They're more isolation by nature. So if you had as much weight that you could only do 4 reps, it's hard to actually even complete that movement correctly. So we slide the range a little higher to still load the muscle, but to allow us to perform the movements correctly. So again, generally you're going to see those in more of a 6 to 8 range, but still working to load the muscle with that range. Question 2 comes from BJ, and this came through Twitter. When is it best to train, morning or night? And this is a common question that you hear a lot because people want to know what's going to be most advantageous. And I'm not sure that it makes a huge difference from a physiological standpoint. I think that it more matters a lot to the individual taste, if you will. So if you're not a morning person, I don't know that there's an advantage to forcing yourself to get up and get in there early. My preference is I always like to do it first thing. And I think the one maybe small advantage is you have all day to supply that nutritional support. But that being said, I think you can work out in the afternoon or evening and still be equally as effective as long as your attention to nutritional detail is spot on around the clock. So to me, that's really the key factor more than the time of day you work out is how you're handling all the non-training hours as far as with your nutrition. Question 3 comes from Joey T, and this came through Facebook. How heavy is too heavy? You're really going to let the rep range be your guide. The rep range will never lie to you. So we're looking for, on all the main basic lifts, we're looking for 4 to 6 reps. You want to be able to get at least 4 reps on your own and no more than 6. So if you're struggling to only get 1 or 2 reps, that's telling you it's too heavy. Now there is a case where if you're doing like maybe your 3rd set of an exercise and you're barely getting 3, you know, if you're just shy of that 4, you're close, I mean, that's okay on one set. But if you happen to, let's say, get only 3 reps on set 1, that's too heavy because you know you're not going to be able to complete 4 reps on your other set. So again, use the rep range to be your guide. The reps will never lie to you. 4 to 6. If you can't quite get 4, weight's too heavy. Question 4 comes from Nate, and this came through YouTube. It says, I've heard a lot of different opinions on rep speed. What's your take? I think the main thing I stress more than any specific cadence or timing or speed is muscular control. I think you want to make sure you're maintaining muscular control throughout every rep. You don't need to go super slow motion, and you're not trying to go, you know, super fast or any speed, but I think that instead of taking the mental energy to try to count, you know, 3 seconds down, 1 second up or anything like that, as long as you're under muscular control, particularly during the negative part of the movement, I think you're going to be fine. So again, I don't really stress rep speed as much as muscular control. If you look at any of my DVDs and you watch examples of how I'm performing the exercise, you'll see some great visual examples of that. And you can also check out on Muscle Hub, I have my must-have exercises, and you can see some ways that we execute those movements as well. Question 5 comes from John Alvarez, and this came from Facebook. It says, pertaining to your career, would you ever consider doing another show? You still seem to have stayed in good shape over the years. Any chance to see the great JW on stage again? To compete again, what would that be like? I won. You love me. You really love me. Wait a minute. What is this? This is 2014. That was a long time ago. That was 2003. As much as the idea of being on stage again does have some appeal, there is no way I would ever compete again. My goals are just very, very different in life now. I'm a business owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm creating great stuff like this for you guys. My competitive days are behind me. I'm very proud of my career, but that's a chapter that's passed. So thanks for asking, but we'll leave those for the memories. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. Keep your questions coming. You can send them through Facebook, through Twitter, through YouTube. You can hashtag AskJW. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and let's go out and execute.